As you all know, the whole world, we are into a situation never we have seen earlier in our lifetime or in the history, I would say. This global pandemic has been not only creating crisis for our life, but also for the livelihoods. The economic slowdown is unprecedented. The globally, there has been a global slowdown which is as bad as 5+% according to IMF, but for some countries it is even more than 10%. But fortunately, Bangladesh is doing far better than many other countries. According to the World Economic Outlook of the IMF, Bangladesh will be growing at around 4% this year, and the World Bank even expects it better than this. No, the worse than this, but the Asian Development Bank thinks this will be almost 5+. So with that kind of position, Bangladesh is a story need to be told, and it's an emerging story. This is a story which has got to be understood in the context of the 1971, the War of Liberation, and the fighting spirit that was demonstrated in 1971 for the liberation of the country, and the leadership which was given by the father of the nation. We are paying homage to our leader in this birth centenary year, and also in 50 years will be in few months we will be celebrating our golden jubilee of our birth of the country. So let me start with his thoughts. Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, who is the father of the nation, what he thought initial days. It is on the 26th March 1972, immediately after the liberation, and he said, "We will turn this war-ravaged country into a golden one. In the Bengal of future, mothers will smile and children will play. It will be a society free of exploitation. Start the movement of development in the fields and the firms and in the factories. We can reveal the country through hard work. Let us work together so that the golden Bengal shines again." And I'm happy to report to you that we are getting all the shines of his golden Bengal despite all the crises that we are facing at the moment. An amazing macroeconomic transformation of Bangladesh we have witnessed over the last 50 years. You will be surprised to know that the country started literally from the ashes. We had negative growth at that time, and the total economic size was only about $8 billion. And do you know what is the size today? It's about 304 billion plus. So that kind of trajectory of growth Bangladesh has really shown, and it has defied overwhelmingly poverty, hunger, famines. It was the Kissinger used to call it in a basket case, the Parkinson, and others called it in a test case of development. But they should come to Bangladesh and see how this country has really come out of the ashes and has become a sign of prosperity. And Bangladesh maintained this sustained growth despite volatile geopolitical situation, as you all know, and inclusiveness of the policies has been the key to this. And this has been exemplary policy. In the next lecture, I'll be talking about microfinance, but also financial inclusion a lot. But the government has also been talking about its inclusive development policies. And that's why Bangladesh is doing far better in terms of realizing sustainable development goals. We did quite well, in fact, quite well in meeting the Millennium Development Goals. So Bangladesh is on its track on this. If you see the economy, Bangladesh had a quantum jump on the per capita income rising at a faster rate compared to its neighbors. I don't want to go into the debate or the discourse that recently IMF has unleashed on our per capita income. This year, probably for the second time, we will be surpassing the per capita income of India. And but maybe we should not overemphasize on it, but certainly by 2030, Bangladesh will be with a nearly $6,000 per capita income will be better off than its neighboring giant. So what we have seen around this time, the enhanced digital connectivity and financial inclusion and extended social safety net programs that the government has really unleashed are core factors working behind this success. And as you all know, our manufacturing sector has been playing a very significant role. There has been a shift from the agricultural-led economy to manufacturing-led economy. Of course, service sector is still playing very important role, but the manufacturing sector has really taken a major role, and a lot of people are really being employed in our garment sector, in our leather sectors, export-oriented sectors, and our policies, environment for investment has been very, very positive in taking this forward. And the economy of scale really allows us to really fight almost all the countries in the world. We are only second to China in terms of export of our ready-made garments. Bangladesh has been one of the fastest growing economies of GDP rate, as we have seen in 2019. The inflation is still under control. That gives us a very good handle in terms of creating more money or providing more finance because of low inflation and also high reserve, which I'll come back later. Low level of public debt. Our debt to GDP ratio is very low, in the 30s together, and in terms of foreign debt to GDP is around 16-17%. And our reserve is around $40 billion. When I was a governor, I started with around $6 billion in 2009. When I left in 2016, I left about 32 billion in the reserve, which was almost 5-6 times higher than what we had. And now they are continuing this trend, and it is coming up about 40 billion now, which is as good as 8 to 9 months of import. And as you all know, 3 months is good enough for an international criteria. So we are watching this economic restructuring and investment and enhanced resilience in Bangladesh. We have seen, share of agriculture in GDP gradually decreased from 25.6% in 2000 to 13.7% now. And over the last decade, the investment to GDP ratio has increased from 26% to 32%. We are not happy with that. I think ideally we should take it even above 40% if we really want to have the sustainable growth in the future. And during the same period, foreign direct investment more than quadrupled. Remittance increased 1.5 times. I thought it is even more now because this year probably the remittance will be 18 billion plus. That is the idea. And export almost doubled. And we hope to really reach 50 billion export pretty soon. So the economic success that we had, it's translated into social progress. And I can give you some idea about the social progress that will tell you that how good the economy has been translated into social development. Poverty and extreme poverty came down from 32% and 18% to 22% and 11% respectively over the last decade. Although, because of the pandemic, the poverty has again gone up. But I thought this is a transitional matter and transitory matter, and we will come back to our original track very soon, as we are pushing the inclusive development even in this pandemic period. The fertility rate has come down to 2.1, almost an ideal situation, replacement level. This was 6 in the 70s. Expected life span has increased from 65.2 years in 2005 to 73 years today, as against 69 for South Asia, and including our neighbor. We are almost 4 years living 4 years more than them. During the 2005 and 16, child mortality rate has almost halved from 68 to 35 per thousand. The maternal mortality rate has been reduced from 348 per 100,000 in 2005 to 170 in 2016, as against 232 for developing countries. And the recently published Social Progress Indicators 2020 confirms all these achievements, including some more, particularly women empowerment and child immunity, and also nutrition plus girls' education. So what are the sources of this inspirational growth that we have been talking about? Manufacturing accounts for 90% merchandise export, mainly RMG. This is higher than India and Vietnam. Remittance, in 2018, we had 15.5 billion remittance, 15% higher than the previous year. And this year, we are expecting about 18 billion. In fact, this could go even beyond, mainly because of the incentive structures that have put in by the government, and also our expatriates are really putting a lot of money because of the crisis situation. 1/5 of the population being aged 15 to 24 years gives comparative advantage in low value added and low complex production. Ours is a very low end exports that we have been pushing. This gives us a lot of employment and also has got huge social impact on the society. Agriculture, we are self-reliant in terms of food, including cereals, fish, vegetables. In fact, sometimes we are surplus in some of them, and reduced pressure on import because we are almost self-sufficient in food, so we hardly import much food, and we have ensured flow of raw materials for industries from agriculture. And in addition to 40+% of employment given to the agriculture. But again, our agriculture is a very modern agriculture. 98% of the land tilled through mechanization, and also, it's not only cereal based. The poultry, livestock, fisheries. These are all new horticulture, new areas of agriculture, which is very modern and at the same time employment generating. Financial inclusion has also been a source of this inspirational growth. The financial inclusion has ensured finance for the bottom of the pyramid, promoted this micro, small, medium enterprises, agriculture, export industries, created employment, and given a lot of equity support, resulted in stunning macroeconomic stability. Bangladesh can really talk about macroeconomic stability, which has been quite stunning, reflected in terms of the exchange rate, which has been like a yen of the earlier side, in almost a straight line. So we have been doing pretty well, but the pandemic has come as a looming danger of economic slowdown. Although we are doing better than many countries, but we are still very careful that we don't miss the bus and continue to grow. The World Bank projects a meager 1.6% of the real GDP amid COVID breakdown, 5.6 points lower than previous projections. Asian Development Bank, however, projects an optimistic 6.8% growth based on growing labor productivity and enhanced economic resilience. The IMF in the World Economic Review, October 20, report projects almost 3.8% growth for 2020 and 4.4% for the next financial year. Consequently, per capita income will surpass India by $1, they say. But I'm not very happy with that projection, because my own feeling is that we will be growing far better than this. The government of Bangladesh is expecting even higher growth and hence stronger recovery due to robust remittance performance, export growth, and of course our stunning performance in agriculture. So we will be doing far better, I hope. We are already seeing some green shoots of our economic recovery. Recently, we can see that private credit growth was only 9.2% in July 20. This has gone up by October to 9.48%. The figure is not here, although short of 14.8% target, but it is growing. Our private credit growth is going. Of course, public borrowing is going on, and we can afford it. Public borrowing, because as I told you, our debt GDP ratio is still very low, and at the same time the reserve is growing, so we have a lot of fiscal monetary space to give support to the fiscal. And again, although our revenue earning is lower, but we were using monetary policy to really make that loss. The RMZ exports grew 4.32% year to year in August. Growth for total export has been 0.84%. Thanks God, it is still not minus. Remittance inflow up by 62.5% in the last 3 months. Agricultural export have also increased over these months, and they are still going very well. The private savings, however, still remains more than the investment, indicating weaker domestic demand, and we got to work on the lower end so that we can create more consumption and more demand. Actually, that is one of the ideas, the recovery plan that we are now making. Declining imports indicate decreased private investment. Our import is still not picking up as we wanted. We still have agent banking deposits, because during this period, digital financial inclusion increased. The agent banking deposits grew by 9.3% year to year to 10,000 crore by June 20. And agent banking advance grew 203%, although the amount is only 720 crore. Agent banking, as you know, is a digital approach. You don't have to have a proper branch, high cost branch. You can really start doing all the preliminary bankings, deposits, savings, and all that, and this can be done by an entrepreneur who becomes an agent of a bank. So this was one of our innovations that we did in 2013, 14, I think, in Bangladesh Bank, and is doing very well. Some of the banks are doing pretty well. Our mobile banking has been even better. About 2,000 crore taka plus, transacted every day by the mobile banking, and almost everybody has a mobile bank. Even the beggars do banking. Even the rickshaw pullers do regularly banking through the mobile financial service. So given these perspectives, we had a stimulus package, and is about 4.3% of the total GDP, 0.03% of the total GDP, and it was a very early declaration in April, early April. Our Prime Minister declared this huge, stimulus package, and this stimulus package implementation is very satisfactory for certain sectors, but there is slow progress in packages for cottage, micro, small, medium enterprises, housing for homeless, agriculture, small traders, and health. These are some of the sectors we have been providing the stimulus. Although you can see from the figures that export-oriented sector was our first priority. We really continued to give salaries to the export-oriented sectors to the workers through mobile banking. The entire package was delivered through mobile banking without any leakage. Large industries and services have picked up almost all of this 30,000 crore, and Export Development Fund, which is an EDA given from the reserve, has already been increased by about 1.2 billion. It's about 5 billion now, and cash distribution has also increased. So these were some of the things. We could not do so much in terms of agriculture, SME, and other sectors. Even then, this is growing. It's about nearly 33 to 40% have been implemented, and we hope to implement the entire package by the end of this year. The government took prompt initiatives in terms of this monetary policy changes we made, so that the liquidity was not a problem. So we allowed a lot of liquidity into the market. What we did, we changed our CRR. We reduced this from 5.5% to 4%, and then we changed repo instrument. We reduced it from 6.75% to 5.25%, and then the restrictions on banks' dividend payment was given so that capital base could be enhanced, and the advance to deposit ratio was also allowed to go up, so that people could make more investment. And on the whole, you can see that we released about 19,000 plus repo all the time, and together probably we released about 30,000 crore taka new liquidity into the market. And other if we add others, the package that we have given together, about total liquidity boosted by about 75,000 crore taka. Is more than that about, and this has really helped the economy to continue to really move ahead. And you can see where we have put in money. And not only we have eased liquidity, but we also given a lot of refinance to the sectors that we need. So other policy responses were the policy rates have been reduced. We used to have 4.75% bank rate, which 5% bank rate. We have made it now 4%. Reverse repo was 4.75%. Now it is 4%. So all these giving some space for the banks to have more liquidity. And Bangladesh Bank's balance sheet has been expanded moderately through purchasing foreign currency and providing refinancing facilities to the bank. And the yields of the government bonds of all maturities have come down by about 2.5% in the last 3 months, so that banks are extending private credit. Now they are forced to extend the private credit. So these are some of the policies I'm talking about. We'll be talking more on the microfinance, because a lot of I would say lot of incentives have also been given for the microfinance programs as well. We'll come back later on that. So given so far, let's talk about how do you want to move ahead looking forward. How do you want to go forward given this kind of situation? Money market liquidity and low interest rates need to be maintained until the economy fully recover from the effects of the pandemic. So nothing to be worried. As a central bank governor, I can tell you that we should not hesitate in terms of maintaining this liquid state that we are at the moment keeping the country. Only thing, we must be very careful that the money goes to the right sector, to the right people. That some people should not take the easy money and divert the money and have a flight of capital. I think we should be very careful in terms of end use of the money, so that where the money goes and where the money is being spent, there should be ample refinance, more refinance for small and medium enterprises and micro and small medium enterprises, and at a low rate of interest. In fact, the government has given low rate of interest, around 4% only. They are giving the money, and the subsidy on the rate of interest is about 5% that the government is giving. The repo window of the central bank need to be active so that there is no sudden increase in the interest rate. So we need to keep the repo rate as we have been doing, and we are not allowing so much of reverse repo so that the banks hesitate to give money to the private sector. Rather, they go for easy means to park the money into the central bank. So we are not allowing so much of reverse repo. Bangladesh Bank should purchase long-term government bonds if there is an increase in the long-term interest rate. The level of debt monetization is still very low in Bangladesh, so we can create more space, monetary space for the government. We can do that. If the interest rate comes down much below the policy rates, or if there is a sudden spike in demand pull inflation, Bangladesh Bank should consider mopping up liquidity from the market, and the Bangladesh Bank has been doing it smartly, I would say. Our central bank has been developmental in its orientation and has been doing pretty well for development and stability. So next, we really want to, given the new normal situations, we really got to push more of the digital financial services in the new normal. The microfinance transactions, as I told you, increased by 68% year to year, and about 2,032 crore now regularly, daily transacted through mobile banking. And mobile banking is is so common. There are about 70 million plus accounts, of which about 45 million are active, and ordinary people, housewives, everybody, they're using this system. And not only that, we are paying our electricity bills, we are providing social security. We are, as you said, we are even providing the wages for the garments without any leakage through this banking. So I thought we should continue to push for mobile financial services in the future. Credit disbursed by agent banking increased by more than 3 times, I told you, and digital financial service will be among the main tools in the recovery of our economy. As you said, because of the digital financial service that we really opted earlier, Bangladesh Bank is the most digitized central bank, I would say, in the region at the moment. Actually, everything goes digital in Bangladesh. I don't want to take the credit, but this is the fact that Bangladesh Bank has not only has become a model for inclusive finance, but is also pushing digital finance in the coming. So further emphasis should be given on protecting and nurturing the CMSs. I think a larger share of the SMEs in the total stimulus package could be ensured. If Bangladesh is lagging significantly behind India and Thailand on the amount of stimulus that we have given for the small sector. Here we got to improve it further, but the implementation remains a snag, and that we need to really pick up by regularly monitoring. I think there should be a digital dashboard so that we can monitor what is going on in the small sector. SME policy 2019, we have an SME policy which is very, very robust and pro entrepreneurs at the smaller end of the pyramid, and I thought we should go and implement that. Again, further utilization of the bank MFI linkage. In Bangladesh, we have been wholesaling credit from the bank to the microfinance institute. I'm sure Indians are also doing the same, and the linkage has been very robust. About 1/3 of the total agricultural credit are really given through this bank MFI linked program. I will be coming back in the later lecture on this more, but this we should continue and provide this agriculture should continue to get that focus. CSMEs should get further stimulus such as VAT and tax abatement, reduction in collateral related hassles. There are still some paperwork and hassles for the CMSMEs, and I think we should do more so that easing of the rules itself is a stimulus. And I think our central bank and the government should really think about how to make it easier, and we should do that. Now we should really set the right priorities and this will be pivotal in terms of recovery. The agriculture will lead the economic recovery. I think agriculture is the biggest shield for us, and I thought, if we don't have to import food, if we don't have to really worry about the hunger, I thought that's the best stimulus that we can give to the people. They are particularly in the lower end of the segment. So I thought agriculture should continue to get the stimulus and the support that the government has been giving. SME and informal economy requires prudent policy support. In fact, most of the people in the informal sector have been affected by this pandemic. So I thought we should continue to give support to our informal sector, and to ensure sustainability, the recovery needs to be green. I think we should give more support to our green industries, our green consumption, green production. In fact, when I was the governor, I created a department called Sustainable Finance Department in the central bank. And we created a special fund for refinancing smaller SMEs which are green. Say, for example, on vermiculture, on transformation of the small industries into green industries, and the large kind of refinance for the green industries. In fact, we created a fund of about $500 million just to transform the industries into green RMGs. And you will be happy to know, of the 10 best and platinum rated green factories in the world, 7 are from Bangladesh, and we have few hundreds of them. We really pushed as a central bank governor. Not only we gave them the money, but we also gave the regulations to the banks that they got to push the green banking for the industry and the agriculture. So we need to implement the stimulus package through proper monitoring. That's what I have been talking. So domestic policies for further inclusive and resilient growth. I think the maintaining and expanding social safety net programs as required, with special focus on the healthcare, support to formal and informal workers, going beyond social safety net programs and reskilling them in the context of fourth industrial revolution. I think we should do that. It's a national policy I'm talking about now. And supporting firms through relief from taxes, providing grants, interest rate subsidies. I think this should continue. And finally, there is no alternative to really collaboration at the global levels. Ensuring health supplies through cooperation in production, purchase, and distribution of the vaccines. Probably this will be one of the policies we are thinking about. And Bangladesh and India are already signing contracts, and also other countries are coming in. As many as 12 vaccines are on the pipeline that Bangladesh will be utilizing. And Bangladesh, I thought, the WHO and others will help Bangladesh, and Bangladesh can also buy on its own. It has the money. Avoiding further ruptures in global trade. Thanks to God and also to the people of the United States, I think there will be no further ruptures in the global trade anymore. That has been a godsend, result in the U.S. election. So we thought, there will be no more ruptures in the global trade, and there will be a lot of support for the climate change in the coming days. Ensure developing countries can finance critical spending needs and maintain debt sustainability, global financial safety net that I'm talking about. All the, particularly our friends from Africa should really bargain more for the support from the international institutions like IMF, and there are emergency funds available. We got some, Bangladesh got some, but I thought more should be coming to the our less advantaged partners and countries in the world. So finally, even in this pandemic, I thought the pandemic can be an opportunity. All disasters have been great educators in Bangladesh, and I thought many other countries. So if you really want to seize this opportunity, the first thing we need to do, invest in people, protecting and improving gains in education, health, social protection will prevent sharp rises in the inequalities. The inequalities should not be allowed to really go up. And for that, we need to invest in people. Secondly, we need to go green, low carbon and climate resilient growth through smart allocation of public resources. That will be one focus on our recovery. That should be green recovery, and greater use of e-governance to ensure efficiency, transparency, e-learning for efficient development of human resources. As you know, the education has been badly affected, and I think we need to remain on board for the our education at least for another 6 months, actually, so that we can use our digital learning methods so that we can reach them. It's not very easy because in the rural areas, we don't have the devices, we still don't have the Wi-Fi's, so we need to sell the data, and again, the poor people are really suffering, that is a danger that our education may affect. So we need to improve our digital learning methods faster so that we can reach them. So this is the presentation I made, and I know we still have about 15 minutes, so we can now take questions and explain if you want to really go deeper into it. So I'll stop here.